like attack mode, you are very, very good in the open floor. So again, this is what I talked about, maybe working on that primary ball handler mentality. You know, you may not be a natural point guard, but combo guard type mentality, so you can catch these outlets and go. Because again, you are very, very, very hard to guard in the open court in the 2 games I've watched. Now, that's the positive of this. I think on this finish, and you tell me what you see here, but I think I'm gonna let it play one time and I'm gonna run it back. You make it, but the one thing I'd like to see you work on, just because next level type stuff, I think you could even take one more dribble and get into your defender.
Yeah,
And
that's what
finish.
everybody. My brother would even talk to me about that.
Yeah,
Shying away
yeah,
from contact.
exactly. So like, you get away with it because you're just bigger and better in this specific play. Like your skill wins out, your talent wins out in this play.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about getting you to the next spot where you want to be, if you can just envision maybe one more dribble, explode up, one more dribble, shoulder up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about on that play versus
Yeah,
that kind of fade away 1 foot deal.
Right.
You know, let's work on some finishes. And I think a good drill for you, is just from the elbow, right? Like you don't need to simulate. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah, I can see it.
You don't need to simulate out here. Like it's just getting in the gym. I start when I do finishes with some of our guys, we just do it from the elbow, like a dribble, like a pound between behind, go. You know what I mean? Just different dribbles from the elbow. And then you're working on various finishes like, okay, I might shoulder this one or I might Euro this one. Just getting creative in this area to finish. When you do get that shoulder down and you do get by, then what hand does this finish probably become with?
I could have, I should have used my left.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, that leads us to our next question. Like, hey, be in the best shape. If I can tell you one thing today, if you're just able to work on one thing, be in the best condition you can be in, be in the best basketball shape you can be in, and that's going to help on a lot of other areas. So I'm glad you were honest about that. You said I was just a little tired. That's great. You get tired. That happens. That's part of basketball. You're going to get tired, but work on that conditioning too. That's the one thing we probably don't talk about enough in development, is just be in excellent shape, be in really, really good basketball shape to avoid this kind of stuff. Get your butt to the baseline, see ball and man, be fundamental, and really, really take ownership in the defensive side of the ball.
Yes, coach.
Just another off ball. Good job. Now this is better, right? Look at the difference in this picture versus that last one. Can you see yourself there? Balls here, almost the exact same thing, right? But it's just opposite. It's just flip sides of the floor. You're in a stance. You can see your man. You can see the ball. Butts to the baseline. I'd like to see you a little more open to the baseline, but that's fine. You can still see man and ball. You're 1 foot in the paint. That picture right there is excellent. That's exactly what it should be. You see the contrast and the difference between the last clip and this clip, right?
Yes, coach.
Now you're in a stance, you're ready to go. Now watch how that impacts your closeout. Instead of playing straight up and down, then trying to close out, because if you're playing standing up, straight up and down, and you try to close out, it's probably going to be a bad closeout, right?
Yes.
So you're in an athletic stance. Watch this closeout. Perfect. Excellent. That's about as good as it can get. Your teammate gets beat, your other teammate comes over to help. What can you do? This is you right here. What can you do in this situation, this defensive rotation?
Slide over me.
Slide over here?
Yep.
Exactly. So we call it cracking down on this guy. So you should see when this man helps, you want to help the helper, right? You've probably heard that before.
Yeah.
You want to slide down, get into his body to take away this easy layup, make number 5 throw this long pass back out here. I'm glad you saw that, man. You got a good IQ. You're answering these questions before I have to. That's excellent. So you're seeing all this. You got a very strong basketball IQ. Selection here. You're coming baseline. Probably not a catch and shoot opportunity, but probably let him off the hook by just kind of pulling up there. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Not a terrible shot, but this is just my philosophy. I don't want to step on any other coach's toes, but a non-paint 2, you know what I mean by that, right? Here's the paint, right?
Yeah.
Get to the paint or a catch and shoot 3. A non-paint 2 to me is not a high valued shot, right? So you got to be thinking with your ability to get downhill, because you got great handles, you got an excellent feel for the game. You know how to play the point guard position. You've got to be thinking catch and shoot. Well, he's not there because he did a good job of closing out. Now I'm thinking assaulting the paint. Get to the paint, right?
Yeah.
Same concept, 2 on the ball. Not great spacing for you. I don't know if your teammates are running a play here or not, but we'd like to see number 13 here, maybe hold some space here. But where are your feet at, right? Where are you at? You're in the paint, right?
Yep.
Assault the paint. Like anytime you're thinking playmaking, assault the paint versus that one clip where you settled on a non-paint 2.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking any, feel free to write this down if you haven't already. Less non-paint 2s, more paint touches, right?
I like too in this game specifically was your isolation defense, man. I mean, you're great at just sitting down in the stance, moving your feet. We like to call it airplane defense. So that means your arms are just all the way out, your chest is up. You do a great job of just defending with your feet, with your chest, and not with your hands. So we'll watch a few ISO defense clips right here. Okay, ball comes out, right? If I'm being super nitpicky, I think you're fast enough, to be honest. I think you're quick enough. Maybe close that gap. Maybe make him feel you a little more, make him uncomfortable. Again, I don't know what your scout, maybe your coach said he's a non-shooter, so I don't want to, steer you wrong. But if we're being nitpicky, that's probably what I tell my player. Just close that gap. I think you're quick enough. Regardless, contain the ball. Good job of you just timing up that block, right? You're jumping at the same time he is, getting a hand up. You're not coming down too. Like you'll see at the college level, these bigs, they get called for so many fouls because when they contest a shot, they're like coming down.
Yep.
Do a good job of just staying vertical with your arms straight up.